Back at another car vlog. Hope you're doing well. I've once again parked someplace so I can talk without having to drive at the same time, which is always the safest option, obviously. Anyway, like I said, hope you guys are doing well. It's Saturday. I'm out doing my usual shopping stuff. Got a package to pick up and all this regular stuff's going on, so that's not particularly interesting. It is November though, and before November I think I said in one of my car book vlogs that I was going to talk about NaNoWriMo, so I'll do that today as well because I'm of course busy writing a story. Now, I'm not super happy with the story that I'm currently writing. It's a medieval fiction type thing, like with the castles and kings and queens and stuff like that, just because I thought that might be fun to do. But so far, it could be a fun story maybe, but the way I'm writing it's a little boring, at least that's how I feel. But it is a first script, obviously, so of course all the boring stuff, if I really wanted to pursue this story and have it published one day, I would probably end up writing that out and putting more interesting stuff in to keep the people interested in reading it. But I just picked a whole new story because I had a story that I think I wanted to pursue more last year. I wrote that. But every time that I start NaNoWriMo, I always want to start fresh because that's kind of the traditional NaNoWriMo way to start a new story every November. Obviously, it is possible for you to continue to write a previous story, or maybe you're writing a series. It's all up to you what you do, but I like the traditional starting fresh on the 1st of November thing. Today is November 13th, I think, and yeah, 13th. So I have to be at roughly 20,000, I don't even know the numbers, but I'm on schedule because I always like to write a little bit more than I need to. I think the basic amount of words that you have to write per day is 1667, and I tend to write around 1750, so I'm always a little bit over the limit, or the level I should say, not the limit. There are no limits, but that's basically just in case I have a day during the November where I just can't write because something's come up or whatever, so I have a little bit of a buffer, so to speak. I do want to update the word count every day, however, because that gives you badges, and at the end of the day you can, or at the end of the month, you can get the, I guess, the main badge that you update it every day, and that's like one thing that I want to have regardless of what's happening in the story. I always want to update, even if it's like 100 words, I want to have some update every day so that I can at least get that badge. Usually though, I manage it just fine. It's always a bit of a struggle because I don't really like the story right now. It's going very slowly and I'm not super invested in a lot of the characters either. But they're just there because they have to be. Like the main character is a prince. Yeah, he's now still a prince because he married a queen, so it's still a prince. And of course he has a king and a queen parents and a prince brother and stuff like that. So they have to be there. At least the parents have to be there at the very least. I could kill them off, but I don't really like that. It's so stereotypical that there's always a parent missing or something. Well, there is one parent missing, but at least when he grew up, both of them are still there. That's the point. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this month. I'm getting a little bit bored with my own writing, but persisting anyway because I want to finish it. Other news, I was talking a couple of weeks ago in a chat just like this about Evergrande and the Chinese market. The other day there was a bit of panic surrounding that because it looked as though Evergrande was not making their default payments, but they made it a little later, I think, than they were supposed to. I'm not really sure. The news is not very clear about that. There's this German company that bought bonds at Evergrande on purpose just so they could say, oh, they've defaulted and I'm going to start the bankruptcy court case procedure or whatever. And they were the ones who were the first to say, oh, they defaulted. But then Bloomberg came out and said that they actually had managed to make a last-minute payment, which may have been right over the edge of the last minute. I don't know. So we might still see, well, we'll definitely see Evergrande collapsing at some point because right now they're doing everything they can just to make bond payments. They're selling everything off or trying to sell everything off. They're trying to make all sorts of deals. And a lot of that is falling through, and the owner has been putting their own money into paying stuff back. Now I hear that the owner has a lot of money anyway, so it's not like he's going to eat less because of it, but it's not a sign of a healthy company is what I'm saying it. So probably they're going to collapse sometime in 2022, and then we'll have to see. In the American market, Zillow has been buying lots of houses as per usual, but they are now putting them up for sale, a lot of them for less than they bought them for. So they're selling off a lot of their inventory at a loss, which is interesting. And that might be because certain people have been gaming the system, or it might be because they're trying to dump their inventory as much as possible because they see something else incoming. And it only makes sense that the housing market would take a hit because it's been going up and up and up for so long now that it's just getting ridiculous. And after a while, people who are looking to buy are just going to stop looking to buy because there's just nothing that they can afford. And then eventually people will have to lower their prices, and then everybody else will start lowering their prices as well, because now the one next to them is cheaper because they lower their price, and that means you have to lower your price. And then somebody else goes, oh, I have to lower my price now because I want to sell before these guys. And then the price keeps going lower and lower and lower. And then people who are looking to buy will eventually be able to afford something again, which is great. So that's that, a little bit of rating and economy in one chat, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Also yesterday during the stream I was talking about how I went to the grocery store and I saw a lot of shelves like being partially empty, and I think people here in the Netherlands anyway, because we do have new corona restrictions again in place, they're preparing for another lockdown. I don't think a lockdown has been announced as of yet, but the way that they keep pushing everything in the news and getting super excited about numbers, like in a negative sense, slightly hysterical, because sometimes when I open like a new tab, I get that Microsoft News section that I never really read, but then there's a couple of things that are like on the top, like headline news, and those are always the most hysterical ones, as you know. But media, they like to do that, but most of them lately have been about, oh, there's so many people in the hospital, la la la. I'm just like, okay, but they are making a lot of people afraid, which is kind of something that I've been noticing as well. And I guess a lot of those people are expecting another lockdown, and they've gone and bought more toilet paper, and they've gone and bought rice, and what else they want to cook. I also noticed that a lot of stuff that's going down rapidly is like comfort food things, like chips and stuff like that, chocolates, things to beer as well. Beer was also going pretty quickly. Just things to calm the nerves appear to be going pretty quickly. So if you want to invest in something, maybe buy some Heineken or whatever. Probably not the best because they're really expensive right now, those stocks probably. I don't have any stocks myself either, so I don't know either. But anyway, so that is the chat for this week. Hope you're doing well. Make sure to stay healthy, safe, and don't panic too much. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.